Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the radiator in your car. So before we jump into the video, if you are here to actually see how to do this, not listen to me complain about a company, skip to this portion in the video, the timestamp down here, because the beginning is just me complaining about a company that gave me a pretty bad radiator. So jump to this time right here, and that's where the how-to video starts. All right, so before we dive into actually tearing this radiator out of the car, if that's what you're here for, fast forward till you see me underneath the car. I'm going to vent or basically complain. This is a brand new radiator. It's not even a year old. The engine's got less than probably 400 miles on it, and it has already failed. So as you can see right here, the side of the radiator, this piece right here goes all the way down the side. I believe it holds essentially the radiator together. So there's one here. This is what it's supposed to look like. As you can see, this is popped up. Essentially, it looks like these are just held down by epoxy. These might be two different materials. Why they couldn't be welded together, that could be why. Let me actually see here. I have a magnet here. So that is steel. And the top is aluminum. So that is why those cannot be welded together. So obviously the company, this is through ACP Radiators. This is one of theirs, 3-row. It's popped up, and as you can see down here, hopefully, let me get some light here. The fins are actually separating now. So this whole radiator is essentially falling apart. Looks like the only thing holding it together are the bolts that hold it to essentially the radiator support, which is actually that bottom piece down here. I don't know what this front clip's called, but that's the only thing holding it together, it looks like, at this point. Now as you can see here, here's that metal piece, and it does in fact appear to hold the whole radiator together. So it is completely failing. So it needs to come out. At this point, I've been in contact with the radiator company. We are still in negotiations to see what's going to happen. ACP does have a 1-year warranty on all the radiators. This one is within a year. It's coming up on a year old, but it's not. I reached out to them within a month of it being a year old, and they I did not get the feeling from them that they wanted to replace it. They kept pushing it off. So I'm still working with them to try to get a replacement. I will let you know how that goes. But enough of me complaining. Let's dive in of actually how to tear the radiator apart and out of your car. So the first thing you want to do is drain your radiator. So on most radiators, there's a drain plug. So right there is a drain plug. All you simply do is unscrew it. Water will come out, you'll drain it, and then next we'll be draining the automatic transmission fluid out of this, since this has a transmission cooler in it as well. So we'll unhook those lines, let the transmission fluid drip out, and then we'll work from there. So now that we have it all drained, before we go ahead and disconnect the oil pan lines, we're going to go ahead and disconnect this upper radiator hose. Just loosen the clamp, work the clamp loose. Then you're just going to have to work that hose off. Some fluid might leak out. So now we're going to go ahead and take the transmission cooling lines off. So now that we have everything disconnected, you can go ahead and take these bolts out and pull the radiator out. Well, now that the radiator is out of the vehicle, you can now see why it had to be removed. As you can see, the whole side is gone. This side does not retain water though. It just keeps the fins pressed in, and as you can see here, the fins are already separating. So luckily, talked to a radiator shop and they're going to be able to fix this hopefully for $10. He's just going to essentially solder the top back on, shove it all back together. Should be good as it's new, instead of shipping it back to the company for like 50 bucks and getting another one and risking having it happen again. So now that it's out, let's get it fixed and put it back in the car. So now that we got the radiator back, as you can see, this clip's been soldered back down. Bent this all back down. The fins still bowed out a little, but I think it'll be okay. It's a lot better than paying like 40 bucks to ship it back to get another questionable radiator. Paid 10 bucks, got it fixed. So let's go ahead and start the install process. So now that we got it all bolted up, while we're up here, we're gonna go ahead and put the inlet hose on, and then we go down below, put the power or the transmission cooling lines on, and then put the return line on, and then we'll be ready to put fluid back in it. Now that the transmission lines are in, everything's hooked up, it's time to put fluid back in the radiator and see if it leaks. All right, so once you fill the radiator up, you're gonna want to take the radiator cap off. Hopefully it's still off. It's been 2 months since I've done this job. I forgot to finish the outro. So you want to keep the radiator cap off, start the car and let it run and heat up enough to turn on the thermostat so that coolant starts flowing through your engine and circulating through your radiator. That way you get all the air out, and then most likely you'll have to add more fluid into your radiator. So top it off that way, and then you can turn the car off, put your radiator cap back on, and you will be all set to go. So hopefully this helps you replace your radiator. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys here next time.